And welcome to Hannity tonight. Again, we begin with a Fox News alert. First, a new poll shows, surprisingly, shockingly even, 2/3 of Americans want actor Will Smith arrested after he slapped Chris Rock for making a joke about his wife. Now, this as new video has just emerged showing Smith making fun of a bald person's shaved head several years ago. We'll get to that in a moment. But yet we begin tonight with another day of the Biden administration's attempt to clean up Joe's disastrous trip abroad, and it's not going well. Our current president is a walking, talking liability to the country, the world, and its seriousness in these times are extraordinarily dangerous. In case you're keeping track, while he was in Europe, Joe wrongly suggested that our U.S. soldiers would soon be on the ground in Ukraine. He forgot the name of his own Secretary of Defense yet again and referred to him as the Secretary of State. He spent several hours choking, if you recall, on a spicy piece of pizza. He falsely claimed that U.S. soldiers were training Ukrainian forces in Poland. He said that Putin cannot remain in power, which his handlers had to clean up and say this is not the position of his administration. And then guess what? He pretty much said the same thing yesterday. Now, in a monumental effort to right this ship, well, Biden staffers, they think they're clever. They're now providing the President of the United States with his daily cheat sheets featuring one-sentence answers to the most simple, the most basic questions in massive font about Joe's own policies. And yesterday, Joe did his very best to read, see that little cue card there, to read from the sheets. Take a look.
I want to make it clear, I wasn't then, nor am I now, articulating a policy change. I was expressing the moral outrage that I feel, and I make no apologies.
You do feel that Vladimir Putin should be removed from power? Is that what you're saying?
No, what I was expressing just what I said. I was expressing the moral outrage I felt towards this man. I wasn't articulating a policy change.
Good job, Joe. He read it all by himself. He did good. Now ask yourself, what kind of president needs a note card to answer a basic and predictable question like this? The truth is, and I'll say it, I was right before the election, Joe Biden is not well. He is not competent. He is so cognitively weak that his own staffers won't let him or trying to stop him from going off script, which, frankly, I agree with. It is a necessary protection in these perilous times. Almost everything he says is poorly read from a teleprompter or now these new note cards. Almost all the questions that he's taking by the media mob are pre-selected by White House staffers. And still, despite all of this assistance, Joe is struggling worse than ever. Well, the past couple of weeks have been really, really bad. Just a quick reminder.
A woman who just died, the Secretary of State, used to have an expression. She said, "We are the essential nation." The reason why, when the Secretary of State asked me if I'd send another 12,000 troops along to the United States, I said, yeah, from the United States. The First Lady's husband contracting COVID, but look at this room and what you see. Pardon? That's right. She's fine. It's me. That's not together. The second lady, the first gentleman. For a mom to get her kid on the internet to be able to do their homework has to pull in the McDonald's parking lot? I mean, for real. That's what's happening. This law is going to put an end to all of that. It's going to put people in a much different position to be able to determine their own judgments about when to sell their cattle. And a pound of Ukrainian people, the proud, proud people, pound for pound, ready to fight with every inch of energy they have.
Come on, man, are you a junkie? Or we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men and women, he said, are created equal, endowed by the thing. Oh, you know the thing. God, the creator of everything. Now, sadly, at this point, it's not even shocking. I have been warning you about Joe's obvious cognitive decline since he came on the scene to run for election. And what we're seeing is not new, except it appears to be getting progressively and dramatically worse. You decide.
When the political coverage, look, some of the political players and some of the let me ask a rhetorical question. No, I won't. Anyway.
This isn't funny. According to a brand new poll, John McLaughlin, nearly 60% of Americans want both Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi to undergo cognitive testing. By the way, Kamala Harris, well, she's got her own train wrecks to deal with. Now, how many times has President Trump been on this program, either on a satellite, in person, or on the phone? How many times has he talked for 40, 45 uninterrupted minutes? He's always very well informed on any topic I bring up, fully, completely engaged, up to date, energetic, articulate, and smart as hell. I'll take the smart, articulate guy that is tough, that the world fears, with the mean tweets. I'll take him back any day. So would most Americans, by the way. Look at this new poll, Harvard-Harris poll. Trump is trouncing Biden and Harris handily if the election were held today. Meanwhile, one recent NBC poll shows a whopping 71% of Americans, they are not confident about Joe Biden's ability to manage this crisis in Ukraine. The same poll found that Biden's approval ratings are now at an all-time low, with Americans worried about record-high inflation, a 40-year high, record-high gas prices, you've never paid more, and the instability abroad. But high in their ivory tower, Biden's protectors, for example, over at MSDNC, well, they just can't seem to grasp why Joe's poll numbers are so low. Why is this happening? Take a look.
Charlie, I want you to explain that to us. I just ran down some significant, hard evidence positives that we're experiencing and Biden can tout. Why isn't he reaping the benefits in the polls? These are big wins.
Well, because we are a politically divided country, and this is the United States of anxiety.
And not to be outdone, so-called journalists on fake news CNN, Don Lemon, he had this to say about Joe's disaster of a trip to Europe. Take a look.
The president is saying exactly what most of the world feels about Vladimir Putin. Now, he did not in that speech say that Vladimir Putin should be removed or we're going to take him out of power. He said this man should not remain in power. Quite honestly, I think this is a media manufactured story. And the media, it's in the media's interpretation.
Oh, a media manufactured crisis. Oh, okay. According to fake news CNN, no wonder nobody watches that network. Now, meanwhile, washed up NBC anchor Tom Brokaw believes, guess what? Fox News is to blame for Putin's hostile invasion of Ukraine. The dog bites, the bee stings, you're feeling sad, blame Trump. If there's an invasion by Putin, blame Trump. Take a look.
From the beginning, Putin has been a warmonger with a sour face. He obviously thought he could run over Ukraine while President Biden was under constant attack by Fox News and ever more poisonous right-wing political organizations.
Tommy, why didn't he do it when Trump was president? And also, I have a question for you, Tom. Are you proud about all of the lies, all of the conspiracy theories peddled by your NBC News about that phony Trump-Russia collusion that never happened? Because your silence was deafening. And at the end of the day, the media mob, you could try and protect Joe Biden and pass the blame, but we, the American people, we're not dumb, we're not stupid. We don't need giant note cards to perform basic and simple tasks. We don't spend long weekends in Delaware recovering from the exhausting work week of one public event, less than one a day. We don't need help remembering names, dates on a daily basis. That is Joe Biden. That is your president. He is clearly and sadly not up to the job. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.